And Vivek Shrivastava Saab. Vivek Shrivastava, I want to ask you, will you continue to concur with all of those who said that Umar Khalid is being persecuted because of his religion?
Well, lot in India has changed post 2014 and we are all aware of it. And I will not call Times Now anything like Radio Rwanda. But however, still I appeal to you to be neutral today in the debate. My first point is that the Amravati speech, which is being quoted time and again, I think nobody has read it. If somebody reads the entire speech, it talks of non-violence, it talks of peaceful protest. So the entire speech is not being quoted. Only selective parts from the Amravati speech of Umar Khalid are being quoted. Point number 2 is that when there were more than 900 witnesses to be interviewed and talked of, and the documentation work was still going on, and it is still, I do not know what is the state of completion even till date, you are still putting an Indian citizen behind the bars and not giving him bail. So, I mean, I respect the courts and their judgment should be respected. However, it is a point that we all need to wonder about. Then thirdly, protesting against the CAA or the abolition of 370 is not wrong under the constitution. If we do not agree with a particular bill, if we do not agree with the abolition of 370, constitutionally I have the right to actually protest. I have the right to make a speech, talk, discuss, and also let the government know what I think of. So I mean, merely if somebody is against CAA or if somebody is against the abolition of 370, 370 was a part of this nation for a long time, it doesn't make me anti-national.
Okay.
And lastly, you mentioned Donald Trump. Donald Trump also went to Ahmedabad and many other places. So it was not a conspiracy against Trump. Nothing happened in Gujarat. So, I mean, we need to give Umar Khalid a neutral space. We need to not be biased when we talk of him and let him be judged as an Indian citizen. That is what I would like to say.
Okay, so note viewers, note how Mr. Shrivastava has not answered the question I asked him. He went off on a tangent and he first started out by saying, no one has gone into the Amravati speech. Now viewers, on page 44, I told you I have the entire judgment here. Page 44, go to clause 58. Now viewers, you can also access this. It doesn't take rocket science. It's uploaded on all the websites, viewers, including Times Now. Just go there and you can read this order in detail. The court goes into this speech and the phraseology of the speech in detail, referencing words like Inqalabi Salam, Krantikari Istiqbal, and it then looks at the larger context. It says that in the submission of the appellant, which is Mr. Khalid, these words were used as a call to boycott an unjust law, and the speech neither spread terror of any kind nor did it excite anyone present there, and merely a shamiana was set up where people came and left peacefully, and there was nothing provocative about the speech delivered by the appellant. It was only aimed at exposing the non-functioning government and the law targeting one community. So the appellant has been quoted, viewers, by the High Court. And then the High Court says, and I quote it, however, this court is not impressed by the argument of the appellant inasmuch as the call to revolution does not have to affect only the immediate gathering. The call to revolution may affect many beyond those who were visibly present, which is why this court finds it apt to mention Robespierre, who was at the vanguard of the French Revolution. This court is of the view that possibly if the appellant had referred to Maximilien Robespierre for what he meant by revolution, he must have known that revolution meant for our freedom fighter and first Prime Minister. Suffice to say, viewers, it's a long explanation, but it goes on to say that these calls, while they may not itself always emphasize being bloodless, which is why it is contradistinctly used with a prefix, a bloodless revolution. So when we use the expression revolution, it's not necessarily bloodless. This course is reminded of, although the activity of revolution is an essential quality, may not be different from the point of view of Robespierre and Pandit Nehru, in its potentiality and its effect upon public tranquility, there can be a vast difference, and it begins to quote certain precedents. So let me first address what Mr. Vivek Shrivastava said upon the speech aspect. protesting is not wrong. Of course protesting is not wrong. And let me tell you, viewers, all of this is prima facie. No one has passed any particular judgment right now. We are only evaluating the evidence on whether it adds up, whether it is even admissible. And what does the court say about protests? It says, in the context of Mr. Khalid, the protest plan was not a typical protest. And the word not a typical protest is italicized for emphasis, viewers. The planned protest was not a typical protest normal in political culture or democracy, but one far more destructive and injurious, geared towards extremely grave consequences. Thus, as per the premeditated plan, there was an intentional blocking of roads to cause inconvenience and disruption of the essential services to the life of community residing in northeast Delhi, creating thereby panic and alarming sense of insecurity. They're talking about the Hindu community here, viewers. The attack on police personnel by women protesters in front, only followed by other ordinary people, and engulfing the area into a riot is the epitome of such premeditated plan, and as such the same would prima facie be covered by the definition of terrorist act. So Mr. Vivek Shrivastava today is trying to whitewash what the court prima facie believes is a terrorist act. The question would be, why? One second, Vivek ji, I'm not arguing with me.
You don't feel that the likes of Kapil Mishra
I am not.
Thakur,
one second, sir, please.
Shrivastava ji, Kapil Mishra and
Shrivastava ji, the courts haven't.
Your category of instigators, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Do you think that I would support any moron, including any of these people that you have mentioned, if they have gone out and said what they have said according to you? But the point is, sir, the court hasn't indicted them. It has indicted Mr. Khalid. So you can bring in other examples, and I'll give you all that opportunity, and I always do, to create your equivalences. Sure. No problems with that. This is an open country. But you didn't address my question. You tried to confuse viewers. Sir, please, sir, give me 30 seconds now. Give me 30 seconds. Vivek ji, you tried to confuse viewers by saying that the court hadn't gone into the specifics.
Just one small point,
I was only setting the record straight. If you don't want me to, it's okay.
In 2016, Rahul ji, no, that's okay. In 2016, Rahul ji, Umar Khalid was accused of going to Pakistan, having links with them, having Facebook photos, and later on it was discovered in media and people were laughing at the Delhi police when it came to the conclusion that he doesn't even have a passport.
Please.
So what is the knowledge being fed to the courts? What is the kind of language the police is writing? There are a lot of questions.
This is not the police writing the language, sir. This is the court.
We will be in a position to speak
more. Sir, it was a court.
Yeah.
We are talking about not the police, it's the court. The court has analyzed. Now, one minute. Shrivastava ji, please.
An Indian citizen, yes.
ठीक है, okay. आपने कह दिया ना जो कहना था. Court भी writes crap and so does the police. It's okay, sir. All these institutions are crappy. Let's shut them down. Let's dismantle them. It's okay. I understand the Marxist position. We have seen how you articulated it in America. It's okay. It's fine. Now, one second. Let me open this up. Let me bring in Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. I'm not talking about your right to speak, sir. I'm only questioning your logic here. It's okay. No problems. It's okay. You tried to construct a narrative where you suggested that all the facts hadn't been gone into. I was only correcting the record. That's all. You said protesting is not wrong. We are not talking about protests here. We are talking about prima facie a terrorist act that the High Court has flagged. We are talking about an Amravati speech that the court believes had an influence to create fear, anxiety, tensions, which led to what we have seen on our pictures. And thirdly, sir, I just want to correct you. I didn't say that this was done to embarrass Trump. I said, embarrassingly, these riots broke out when President Trump was visiting in front of a foreign head of state. Why was it done? Viewers, perhaps to embarrass India, to promote this international thesis that India has become an Islamophobic Hindu Rashtra. That is why, viewers. Let me first